Welcome back to our episode. Have you ever thought about where your meat comes from?
Yes, I do. I always check the package and see where my meat comes from when I go shopping. Why do you ask?
Well, what if there was a way to have meat that's good for us and doesn't harm animals?
Really? That sounds like a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about today. Let's jump right in.
Hey, everybody. Crosstalk FM is an English and Japanese bilingual freestyle podcast. In this podcast, we explore some cross-cultural themes and trends.
Hi, I'm Tomoya.
I'm Andrea.
このポッドキャストは私たちが面白いと思った文化やトレンドについて英語と日本語で話しているポッドキャストになります。Today we are talking about lab-grown meat. Do you know what it is, Andrea-san?
Actually, yeah, I was reading about this the other day. It sounds really weird.
It is.
It's kind of hard to describe, but basically, it's just regular meat, except that it's not grown by an animal, it's grown in a laboratory.
Right.
It's very weird. It's a weird concept.
It is. It's kind of weird, as you said, but in the US, government gave the green lights to this lab-grown meat.
Okay.
So green light means, okay.
Yeah, it's like, what would you say in Japanese for the okay, give an okay or approval?
承認した.
Shonin suru? Yeah. Okay, so they were approved to go ahead and do this, right?
Yes. But it's not started selling at the supermarket yet.
Okay, not yet.
Not yet. But it's served in a selected or limited restaurant in the
Okay.
US.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's been approved to be made and distributed, I think it's not an issue of safety. It's probably an issue of they can only make so much, right? They don't have the facilities to make a lot right now yet.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think lab-grown meat is very expensive to produce.
I don't know, but I would guess so. Yeah, I would guess it's very expensive, and you know, like I said, they don't have all the laboratories yet. They only have like one or two, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. So I think some of the listener might remember an episode about we talk about plant-based meat, but this is a little different.
Right. It's very different.
Yeah, this is lab-grown meat.
Right.
Or
So
factory-grown meat.
yeah. So with the plant-based meat that we talked about previously, plant-based meat is always made from a plant. For example, like soybeans are very common. Soybeans, peas and chickpeas, or other kinds of vegetables. And then those vegetables are kind of processed and made to imitate the taste and the texture of animal meat. So like one really popular item now is soy. It's called soy meat, I think.
Yes.
It's made from soybeans and it looks like minchi. Minchi niku, like minced meat. It's actually pretty good.
Oh, you have tried this?
I've tried it a couple of times. It's actually very nice. You can't. It tastes just like meat. It feels like meat. It has everything just like meat. So
I only tried tofu hamburg before. Wasn't good because I cooked it. 自分で豆腐ハンバーグ作って美味しくなかった。
well, did it have any meat in it, or was it all tofu?
It's all tofu.
Okay. What else was in there?
Nothing.
Just tofu?
Yeah, I just stirred tofu itself.
No vegetables?
No vegetable. I just poured a little bit tare or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds okay, but usually like a tofu burger would have like really finely cut up vegetables and then something like egg or something as a binder to hold everything together.
Yeah, if you cook properly for a tofu hamburger or tofu whatever, it's tasty.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to cook it.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah. So tofu, hamburger, whatever, and this plant-based meat is completely different, right? Mm-hmm. How about this factory-grown meat? What's differences? What's the difference?
Well, from what I read, the difference is that this factory-grown meat, the kind of fakely grown meat, is basically grown in a laboratory, like we said, except it's not using any plant material. They actually take cells. Cells is what? Cybele?
Cybele.
So they take cells from an animal, and then they use the cells to reproduce inside the tanks to make meat inside the tanks. So it starts out as meat. It's not like a living thing that we have to kill. It's just cells that are replicating, basically.
Is where the cells come from? You said it's from animal or...
Yeah, I think, well, from meat, right? So first they have to have the meat itself, and then they take the cell from the meat.
Yes.
That being said, they don't necessarily need to kill an animal, right? Like they could just do a shot and take some of the cells out of the arm without killing the entire animal, right? It's possible.
True. That sounds true.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yes.
So with the tanks, the big steel tanks, from what I read, the temperature and the pressure is all it's all kept at the same temperature to optimize or kind of maximize how much meat they can make. So it's like a science experiment, basically.
I think that's exactly what they are doing now.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Science experience. So that's why I think they can do mass production.
Eventually, they probably will do.
They will do, yes.
Yeah.
Eventually, but it's just the beginning of the food revolution or whatever it is.
Yeah, it probably is. I think they're just getting started on that.
It just came up to my mind, but is this factory grown meat okay for vegetarians?
No.
Oh.
No.
No,
because it's made from animal cells.
I thought that's not means from animals.
No, it's still not considered vegetarian or vegan friendly.
I see.
Because it is made from animal cells.
I see.
But it could be Muslim friendly.
Uh-huh.
Depending on how the original cells were procured, or how they were gotten.
I see.
But I was thinking about, like, why would they do something like this? What would be like the reasons for making meat in a laboratory versus just taking it from the animal like we do now? What do you think?
Oh, good question. So I didn't know the answer, so I researched it.
Okay. Oh, good.
So there's many reasons, but I picked up two of them.
Okay.
And one is animal welfare.
That's right. Yeah.
And one is climate change.
That's right. Yeah.
But how does it connect to global warming?
Well, actually, it really contributes a lot to global warming, because if you have read how animals are raised for food, the articles will always say, like, how much food and water it takes to feed the animals.
Right.
And then we kill, like, let's say we're talking about cows. In order to feed and water cows, it takes a lot of food and a lot of water. They're big animals. And then we kill the cow for meat. But then the calories we get from meat are relatively low compared to how much effort was put into raising that cow.
Uh-huh.
So, like, we're kind of wasting, like, food and water raising the animal.
I see.
So that's how it kind of contributes to climate change. It's kind of using too much resource for very little output. But also, like, I've never been to a farm in America, like a proper farm, but I've seen it online. The animals, in New Zealand too. In New Zealand grows a lot of sheep. The animals actually put off a lot of carbon dioxide.
Yes, I have heard the story. Cows emit a lot of CO2.
Right, and sheep as well. Sheep as well.
Really? Didn't
Yeah,
know
from farting and
Farting.
burping. Yeah, because there's so many animals and they fart so much, right? So that causes a breakdown in the ozone layer and the atmospheric gases. They're farting so much in New Zealand.
that. I'm sorry for New Zealand people, New Zealanders.
Yeah. But
yeah.
also like in America, we have a lot of big beef farms where I'm from. We grow a lot of beef, and then our next state over, they grow a lot of pigs for pork. The animal farms actually make the water very dirty in those areas.
Really?
Yeah, like the water and the environment's actually very dirty.
Like a poo and pee?
Exactly.
Oh.
So, I mean, not deliberately. I mean, the farms, try to keep clean as much as they can. But when it rains, the rain falls everywhere. And then that flows into the river. And it carries with it the pee and the poo of the animals. And then it gets the river water dirty.
Oh, I see.
And some of the farms that are not so clean, actually, some of them are extremely dirty. And the cows are just not on grass. They're in mud, or they're just kept in pens that are, kind of dirty. So it's actually really not a good situation environmentally.
I see. I saw the TV program. If the pee and poo are piled up like a mountain, it makes like a gas and
Methane.
methane
Yeah.
and brings illness.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's poo. Of course, it's not clean.
I
Right?
see. So it's those things are happening.
Right. So this is like one reason why I think scientists and researchers are wanting to do, like we mentioned, the plant-based meats, because we get more output from plants. If we take a soybean plant and we make a soybean burger from that, that's a higher calorie yield than taking that soybean plant and giving it to a sheep to eat for food, right? Mm-hmm. So they have to eat a fuck ton of soybeans, basically. So they have to eat a lot of soybeans in order to make the same amount of energy as just eating the soybean. So
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's a really complicated issue, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, animal welfare is obvious reason.
Yeah, that's a huge reason also.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think it's morally correct. They don't think it's good for humans to grow animals just to eat them. So, think of the life of a pig who's grown for meat and bacon. It's a terrible life, right?
It is.
Yeah, and so humans, we're supposed to be superior, but we're killing our fellow animals and subjecting them to these horrible conditions. So
it is. It kind of what it is. It is what it is. Things.
Yeah, if you don't think about it too deeply, it's okay. But if you start to educate yourself and read about it, it's pretty horrible, actually.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not a vegetarian. I eat a lot of meat. I eat a lot of fish. I don't meat. But I understand it is a really horrible thing. And if I had to choose between killing an animal for food or becoming vegetarian, I'd probably become vegetarian, honestly.
Yeah, because we both like dogs and cats and cows the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Cows are beautiful creatures. They're lovely. They're not super intelligent, but they're kind of intelligent.
It's the same, animals.
Yeah. So there is in me and many people, there's that mixed feeling of I love animals, but then I love steak too.
Yeah, we have to eat to live, right?
Right. So for someone like me, I would love this lab-grown meat.
I would definitely try this lab-grown meat.
Yeah, if I could have really tasty meat and not have an animal suffer for that, that'd be win-win, totally.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a company making an interesting product. It's a 3D printer, and it replicates a food like salmon fillet.
Really?
Yes.
What's the base ingredient? I guess it'd have to be salmon.
It's
some kind of salmon paste or something. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine.
I don't exactly know what they are using it, but it is salmon fillet. From the video I've watched. Yes.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
So it's like a replicator from a Star Trek, you know. You order something you wanna eat or drink, and it replicated. It produces it.
Okay, I don't know Star Trek. I think that's funny though. But when I was a child, we had a cartoon on TV called The Jetsons.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably made like back in the 1950s or 60s. It is about a family who lives in the future. And they also had that kind of thing. Like you want to eat something, you go to the kitchen and you press a button and it just comes out of the wall.
Uh-huh.
And no one has to cook anything, right? It's just like it suddenly magically appears. It's kind of like that, like the Star Trek one, I guess.
So yeah, I don't know what ingredients they are using, but it's probably like a lab-grown something, I guess.
Interesting.
Yes. It sounds futuristic, and it's not realistic, but it's happening.
Yeah, it is happening. It is happening. I'd be interested to see and try something like that, like a salmon fillet that has been made with a 3D printer. Because surely the texture would be different a little bit.
I'm sure it's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it tastes like a salmon, probably.
I'm sure it tastes like salmon.
Okay. Oh, I'd like to see that and try it, actually. Okay. Well, we got a little bit deep in the middle of our episode talking about climate change, and how that happens when we relate it to growing animals for meat, and also like animal welfare. But I am interested to know from our listeners, what are your thoughts on factory-grown meat? Would you be willing to try this? Would you like to try factory-grown meat? And if no, why not?
Okay, that's all for this episode. But don't forget to catch next episode.
All right, this is Crosstalk signing off, bringing you English your way every week.
Keep listening and keep shining. Bye.
Bye.